So most people think about brand identity from a very visual perspective. And that is true. Brand identity is all about, your primary logo, your corporate colors, typography, maybe secondary icon, official brand patterns, different touch points and things like that. But a brand identity should be much more. In fact, if you have the right kind of brand identity, then you can increase your prices for your products, for your services. And you see that all around. You look at any of the big successful brands, and you would notice that, of course, they use the power of their identity to sort of charge more. Now, why does that happen? How does that happen and why? Think of luxury brands, right? If you're looking at Gucci, Louis Vuitton, a bag that you're buying from Gucci is expensive. Yes, it could be expensive because of the way it was designed, of the materials used, the craftsmanship, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of factors that could, be involved in that high ticket items, like a luxury bag, right? But beyond that, there's also the brand, the mark that commands a premium price. Now, I know of many craftsmanship within the United States, for example, that create leather bags that are fantastic, that are handmade, handcrafted with love, care, passion, and a lot of times in a sustainable way, very eco-friendly way. And yet, those bags are a fraction of the cost of a Louis Vuitton bag. So the difference is, of course, the Louis Vuitton brand identity and Gucci brand identity, as opposed to, I don't know, Mash Bunigala Leatherworks, right? Of course, I'm simplifying the topic, right? Of course, there are many nuances in that. There could be a calfskin purse or a bag that's been sourced, blah, blah, blah. I mean, at the base level, it is the brand identity that is commanding these astronomical prices. And the brand narrative, the story has been told. The brand identity has been kind of implemented. And the narrative has been pushed so that at the end of the day, when you pick up a Gucci bag, you're willing to shell down $3,000 or more, as opposed to when you look at a bag created by an unknown brand and you're thinking $300 is quite a lot. So think of your brand identity as actually one of the most powerful tools that determine your sales, that determine your prices, your revenue, your profits, everything. It's not just your products. In fact, there are many brands out there who have inferior products, who have, products or services that are mediocre at best, but they command a premium price tag and they pull it off. And people who buy these products or services and pay top dollar actually are, tell themselves that they're getting a better value product or service because they're paying that much. So when you make a purchase of a $3,000 purse or a bag or $30,000 purse or a bag, and you put it in your shelf and you carry it around, of course, you're communicating to other people that, you have money and therefore you're able to afford this $3,000 purse. So when you're sitting in a restaurant and you put your bag on the table, you're communicating to everybody else that somehow you are superior, you have more money. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you also satisfy yourself that you're getting a better value product, which may not be the case. So if you're selling products or services, or even if you're an entrepreneur and you are an influencer, for example, your brand identity will determine the perceived value of your service product, or if you're a consultant, and it will help you command higher prices. In fact, you're obligated to command higher prices because that is part of the narrative. That is part of the story. So take a look at your brand identity. Take a hard look. I don't mean your logo. Your logo may be fantastic, or it may be, I don't know, average. No, I'm talking about strategic brand identity, right? So that, of course, includes the visuals. What are the different touch points? How is your identity portrayed across these? How does it look on social media channels? How does it look on your website? How does it look on your products? Then you look at your messaging. What are you saying? Does that align with your brand identity, right? Or the visuals? Does it tell the right story? Do you have a story? If you don't have a story, then you're competing as a commodity, right? It could be a unique product. You're still going to be treated as a commodity. And if you're in a commodity market, like fashion, it's a commodity market, right? Wine's commodity market. Recently, we worked with one of our clients. We completed a private label kind of wine brand. And the whole point of that brand was the strategy. The visuals, yes, anybody could create good visuals, right? Anyone with a creative kind of mindset. But a strategic perspective only comes from a strategic brand identity. Building that narrative, building that framework, right? So take a look at your story if you have one. If you don't have one, then it's time to get a story. A story is not a lie. It's not about lying. It's not about fibbing. It's not about creating something that doesn't exist. No, a story, a brand story especially, not the origin story, and I keep repeating this in most of my videos, is that there's a difference between a brand story and an origin story, right? So a brand story is about aligning with your target audience. It is about communicating and creating that emotional bond, that connection with your target audience. And when you create that connection, then you're able to show your value, and your audience understands your value, and they're willing to pay a premium price. And you're obligated to charge more for the value you create. Of course, if you're creating crap, right? If your product is crap or your service is crap, then no, you have no right to charge more. But if you have a valuable product or service and you're not able to charge more because people don't understand the value you're bringing, your brand identity is the key. Your brand story is the key. The messaging framework is the key. All right. So take a hard look, do a brand audit, or if you're a new brand, then understand that you need to get your brand identity as a holistic solution, not just your primary logo. Don't just, if you're a startup, for example, don't think that by just getting a logo done, you're done, you're ready. Let's move on to the next thing. No, spend time, effort, thought process, money on the initial stage, the fundamentals of the brand identity. The visuals of the brand identity come at a later stage of that journey, right? So the first is fundamentals. It's the essence. It's the brand story. It's the positioning strategy. It's the messaging framework. And then translating that into visual identities. And then, of course, comes, the primary logo, the secondary logo, official brand patterns, and things like that. If you have any questions on this topic, leave a comment below and I will try and answer. I will try and do a series of videos actually to see how each industry, right, each different market segment can utilize their brand identity to command higher prices. I won't do them in a sequence, but I will do them and I'll link them all up so that there will be a playlist and you can watch those. All right, till my next video, take care.